Toppin. Catherine Toppin, class of '02. From an early age, Catherine Toppin combined her devotion and loyalty to her family with an unswerving commitment to excellence. And I can attest that Catherine's first words when she learned that she was receiving this award were, "My mother will be so proud." It was so lovely. Her successes have come from an extraordinary capacity for hard work, as well as a desire to help others succeed, whether it is an individual or an organization. What good fortune that Catherine considers Princeton family and has extended to the university the same devotion, loyalty, and commitment to excellence. Even while Catherine was a student pursuing a challenging course of study in electrical engineering, taking classes with graduate students and getting A's on her projects, she contributed to the greater community. She served as the president of the Princeton chapter of the National Society of Black Engineers, and she volunteered for Community House, tutoring underserved local students. Within a year after graduation, she was an active member of the Association of Black Princeton Alumni, or ABPA, became a board member in 2006, and has been president since 2008, a rapid rise that has not surprised her former professors. Through this position, she is a member of the Alumni Council's Executive Committee and was instrumental in helping to plan, organize, and execute the highly successful 2009 Coming Back and Moving Forward Conference for Black Princeton alumni. Some might assume that leading the largest alumni-affiliated group might be enough to contribute while practicing law and now serving as patent counsel for General Electric, but not Catherine. She has been actively engaged in her regional associations wherever she has lived. As a law student in Maryland, she joined the Washington, D.C. Princeton Prize and Race Relations Committee. When she moved to Boston after law school, she joined the Princeton Prize Committee there, becoming co-chair as well as vice president of the Boston Regional Alumni Association. And when she recently moved to Connecticut, yes, she joined the Princeton Prize Committee of Connecticut. By virtue of heading up the ABPA, she is also on the Princeton Prize National Board. Catherine has remained loyal to her other Princeton connections as well. Last year, she was named to the Advisory Council for the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences, the youngest member. She is on the Advisory Committee for the Connect campaign initiative to engage Black leaders, and she is a member of the Reunions Committee of the Class of 2002's 10th reunion. Catherine's commitment to Princeton goes beyond her tireless work as a leader of organizations. Her friends, colleagues, and mentors comment on her ability to connect directly with people of all ages through her lively sense of humor, her unfailing positive outlook, her warmth, and her wisdom beyond her years. Not least of Catherine's gifts is her singing, a gift in the sense of talent, but equally a gift to her Princeton family. For the 2009 conference, Catherine volunteered to become the face and voice of the ABPA's effort to incorporate the singing of Old Nassau as a symbol of the growing reconciliation between Black Princeton alumni and the university. Ever since, Catherine has regularly led Old Nassau at the conclusion of ABPA events. An ABPA colleague shares that the conflicted feelings for me and many other Black alumni have faded into the past, and we now sing along proudly with Catherine. For all that you have given your Princeton family in these first 10 years of alumni life, Catherine, let your crystal tiger be but a token of our deep gratitude. We look forward to being part of your family for many years to come.
Standing in the room and stick to my remarks that are only a page long. So, although I'm not going to shout out every single person that's come to support me here today, I just want to give you all a general thank you. There are too many to name, but I will, like I said, stick to my remarks, which I hope reflect how appreciative I am that you all are here today. I'd like to congratulate my fellow award recipients on a job well done. It is definitely an honor to be recognized alongside each of you. I'd also like to thank the Alumni Association, its staff, the Alumni Council, and the nominating committee for recognizing me with this award. On September 13th, 1998, I sat in the Princeton University Chapel at opening exercises and listened to then President Harold Shapiro deliver one of the most memorable speeches I have ever heard. His talk was entitled Conversations, and he suggested that for the next 4 years at Princeton, I will be filled with the opportunity to participate in the most transformative conversations of my life. In 2003, 1 year after graduation, I found myself at reunions, sitting at the then Third World Center with my college roommates and best friends, Linda and Nishanta, having a conversation with a group of alumni in which we discussed, and I quite literally complained about what the Association of Black Princeton Alumni did and didn't do to foster interactions among its members. Among that group was Ken Bruce, class of '83, Alumni Council Officer and 2006 recipient of the Award for Service to Princeton. Needless to say, Ken, the president of ABPA, had some very insightful and opinionated thoughts in response to my complaints. And he suggested that I get involved in planning events for ABPA in the DC area where I lived. A few weeks later, I took him up on his offer. In 2003, that's a slight correction. I had no idea that 5 years later, I would be president of the same organization that I had spent so much time complaining about. Since we met 9 years ago, Ken has taught me a few valuable lessons that I continue to apply to my Princeton volunteerism and to life in general. 1, show up, because in most instances, that is half the battle. 2, take the time to be excellent and don't take shortcuts to get the job done properly, no matter how small the job is. And 3, listen carefully to those that complain, because most often the people who take the time to complain actually care, and they will be the next generation of leaders. Kenny, you've been my mentor, a sponsor, and a best friend. Thank you so much for taking the time and effort to mentor me in my Princeton journey. Your conversations with me, whether I appreciated them at the moment or not, have truly made all the difference. I think that President Shapiro was spot on with his entire concept of transformative conversations at Princeton, except that he cut the timing way too short. I've had some of the most meaningful and transformative conversations with Princetonians since graduation, and I have no doubt that they will continue for a lifetime. Before I go, I'd like to thank the many people who have supported me personally and professionally over the last 10 years, many of whom have traveled to be here in the room today. However, I must take one more quick moment to recognize someone without whom I quite literally and figuratively would not be here. In 1997, I received a Princeton application in the mail and had decided not to apply for various reasons. Despite the fact that I had applied to 12 other schools, my mother made me apply to Princeton simply because the excuses I gave her for not applying to the best school in the country did not pass her litmus test. Mom, thank you so much for knowing what was best when I did not, for making the sacrifices with Dad to make sure I got here, for sharing me with my Princeton family since I left home, and for cheering me up on class day in 2002 after I cried about not getting any awards. You were my biggest cheerleader and biggest and unconditional cheerleader, and this time is for you. Thank you.